Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India News Hour, India's voice to the world. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj. Coming up in the next hour. U.S. seizes oil tanker off Venezuelan coast, sends thousands of troops to the Caribbean, although Venezuelan government rejects the seizure. U.S. and Russian officials meet in Florida for Ukraine talks of a new format, proposing a trilateral meeting with national security advisors of three countries. Release of new trove of Epstein files stir political tensions ahead of 2026 U.S. elections. Lawmakers criticize Justice Department, threaten impeachment article over lack of transparency. Australia take an unassailable 3-0 lead in the Ashes series after their win in the third test against England to retain the urn. The United States apprehended an oil tanker off Venezuela on Saturday, the latest salvo in a pressure campaign against Caracas. It was the second time in 2 weeks that U.S. forces have interdicted a tanker in the region, and comes days after President Donald Trump announced a blockade of sanctioned oil vessels heading to and leaving Venezuela. U.S. Homeland Security Chief Kristi Noem posted a video of aerial footage that showed a helicopter hovering just above the deck of a large tanker at sea. As per media reports, the vessel was a Panamanian-flagged tanker carrying Venezuelan oil that had recently left Venezuela and was in Caribbean waters. On December 10 as well, U.S. forces seized a large oil tanker off the coast of Venezuela that was carrying sanctioned oil from Venezuela to Iran. The Venezuelan government rejected the seizure of a new vessel transporting oil. The statement described it as a serious act of international piracy. It said Venezuela denounces and rejects the theft and hijacking of a new private vessel transporting oil, as well as the forced disappearance of its crew committed by military personnel of the United States of America in international waters. Caracas said that the actions will be reported to the United Nations Security Council, other multilateral organizations and governments. Meanwhile, U.S. military was seen operating in Puerto Rico with a U.S. Air Force C-17 Globemaster III aircraft taking off from Mercedita Airport in Ponce. Separately, a U.S. Navy-guided missile destroyer, the USS Thomas Hoodner, departed from the port of the Americas on Puerto Rico's southern coast. There are currently 11 U.S. warships in the Caribbean. The U.S. military has also conducted a series of airstrikes on alleged drug trafficking boats in the Caribbean Sea and Eastern Pacific Ocean since September. The United States has for months been building a major military deployment in the Caribbean with the stated goal of combating Latin American drug trafficking, but taking particular aim at Venezuela. U.S. President has also repeatedly said that strikes on land in Venezuela are coming soon. Moving on to Israel-Gaza peace talks, representatives from the United States, Egypt, Qatar and Turkey met in Miami, Florida to review the next steps on the ceasefire plan. The joint statement issued by U.S. envoy Steve Witkoff said that representatives reviewed next steps in the phased implementation of the comprehensive peace plan for Gaza, and further consultations will continue in the coming weeks to advance the implementation of phase 2. It said the first phase has yielded progress, including expanded humanitarian assistance, the return of hostage bodies, partial force withdrawals, and a reduction in hostilities. In the discussions regarding phase 2, representatives emphasized enabling a governing body in Gaza under a unified Gazan authority to protect civilians and maintain public order. U.S. and Russian officials held talks in Florida on Saturday as the Trump administration pushed both sides to reach an agreement to end the Russia-Ukraine conflict. Putin's special envoy Kirill Dmitriev met U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and Trump's son-in-law Jared Kushner. Marco Rubio, Trump's top diplomat and national security advisor, had said he might also join the talks. Dmitriev said the talks were constructive and would continue on Sunday. The Miami meeting followed U.S. talks with Ukrainian and European officials on Friday, the latest discussions of a peace plan that has sparked some hope of a resolution to the conflict. The discussions are constructive. They began and continue today and will also continue tomorrow. Supporting U.S. proposed three-way talks with Russia, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky stressed the need to defend a strong alliance with the U.S. and European partners. We must fight for the United States of America. We must fight for a format in which we stand together with all our allies, with the United States playing a role both as a mediator and as a partner alongside European allies who support us. I believe this is a strong alliance and we must fight to preserve it. While Russia stated that its conditions for ending the war remain unchanged, demanding Ukraine drop its NATO ambitions and give up 4 claimed regions. Rejecting the condition, Kyiv insisted that it will not give up territory that Russia has been unable to seize. Tensions continued to rise in Honduras as residents and officials reacted to reports that the United States has denied visas to Honduran electoral officials amid delays in announcing results from the nation's presidential election. Honduras's presidential election took place on November 30, but nearly 3 weeks later, there is still no clarity on who will be the country's next president. The chaotic elections have been rocked by a fumbled vote tallying process, allegations of fraud and U.S. intervention. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio said that the State Department has refused the visa application of Marlon Ochoa, a member of the Honduran National Electoral Council, and revoked the visa of Mario Morazan, the head of Honduras's electoral court. Honduras's presidential election took place on November 30, but nearly 3 weeks later, there is still no clarity on who will be the country's next president. Let's understand the turmoil in brief now. Conservative Nasri Asfoura of National Party is ahead of centre-right candidate Salvador Nasrallah of Liberal Party. Nasri Asfoura is ahead by around 43,000 votes out of more than 3 million cast. Candidate for the Liberal Party, Rixi Moncada, is a distant third in the vote count. Hundreds of thousands of uncounted votes exist due to tally sheet inconsistencies. On Thursday, Honduras's National Electoral Council initiates a manual vote count. Protesters, mainly from the ruling Liberal Party, demanded the annulment of very fraudulent vote. Protests hindered manual count of about 15% of inconsistent votes, causing delays. Salvador Nasrallah has also called for a full recount. Honduras's Electoral Council president states no vote-by-vote recount needed without evidence of irregularities. Honduras's Electoral Council has until December 30 to certify the election. The Electoral Council is overseen by 3 officials representing each of major political parties. At least 2 of 3 representatives have to agree to certify the election result. If Congress fails to recognize results, it could extend President Xiomara Castro's term for up to 2 more years. U.S. involvement has overshadowed the election and triggered complaints of improper interference. U.S. President Donald Trump has publicly endorsed Asfoura. Trump also alleged possible fraud in the election without providing evidence. The U.S. Department of State has called for a quick resolution of manual count and announcement of final results. All right, and breaking news coming in. Unknown gunmen killed 10 people and wounded 10 others in a shooting at Township near Johannesburg in South Africa. The motive for the shooting at Bekkersdal, 40 kilometers southwest of the city, was unknown. As per the initial statement by local police, some victims were randomly shot in the streets by unknown gunmen. This is the breaking news that we are getting for you, and we will keep you updated with the latest on this brutal attack. This is breaking news coming in. Unknown gunmen killed 10 people and wounded 10 others in a shooting at a township near Johannesburg in South Africa. The motive for the shooting at Bekkersdal, 40 kilometers southwest of the city, was unknown, As per the initial statement by local police, some victims were randomly shot in the streets by unknown gunmen, and we will keep you updated with the latest on the brutal attack. Breaking news, we are getting in. Unknown gunmen killed 10 people and wounded 10 others in a shooting at a township near Johannesburg in South Africa. The motive is still unclear. The motive for the shooting at Bekkersdal, which is 40 kilometers southwest of the city, was unknown. As per the initial statement by local police, some victims were randomly shot in the streets by unknown gunmen, and we will keep you updated with what's latest in this entire matter. Pakistan's former Prime Minister Imran Khan and his wife Bushra Bibi have been sentenced to 17 years in prison each in a corruption case tied to the undervalued sale of official luxury gifts received by them. DD India's Adamya Mishra brings us more.
A special court of Pakistan's Federal Investigation Agency on Saturday sentenced former PM Imran Khan and his wife Bushra Bibi to 17 years in prison at Rawalpindi's Adiala jail in a corruption case. The Toshakhana 2 case concerns the alleged underpriced purchase of a jewellery set gifted to Khan by the Saudi Crown Prince in May 2021. Toshakhana refers to government departments where valuable gifts received from foreign dignitaries are kept. Prosecutors claimed the gifts were obtained in violation of Toshakhana rules, but Khan and his wife denied wrongdoing, terming the case politically motivated. Imran Khan was sentenced to 10 years under Section 34 and 409 of the Pakistan Penal Code for common intention and criminal breach of trust, and 7 years under the Prevention of Corruption Act. Bushra Bibi received the same cumulative sentence. Khan remains in Adiala jail with restricted access for family visits. The latest verdict adds another chapter to Imran Khan's tumultuous political journey marked by popular support, fierce controversy and now a long prison sentence. Adamya Mishra's report for DD India.
And still to come on DD India News Hour. Germany marks first anniversary of the deadly Christmas market attack. Google, Apple warn US staff with H-1B visas against international travel. Bangladesh is witnessing massive unrest. A lot is at stake. Stay with us to know details.
For sustainability to become more than just a statement, it needs to be practical and seamlessly fit into our lives.
If we are thinking about a net zero economy, and obviously automobile sector is at the center of this transformation. Instead of buying new vehicle, if I can retrofit and upgrade my existing vehicle, environmentally speaking, it is superior.
Zero waste means repair, reuse, analyze.
We realized that if women became involved in decision making and generated income, the whole family would benefit. Before, we needed a lot of manpower to handle the waste. But now, with the conveyor belt,
It converts the waste into electricity, powering 2 farms.
Welcome to Kumarakod, Kerala, God's own country.
You're watching DD India News Hour. I am Prasar Bharati. The U.S. Justice Department released a heavily redacted trove of files on Friday related to the Jeffrey Epstein investigation ahead of 2026 U.S. election. The trove of material released by the department included photographs of former President Bill Clinton and other famous names in Epstein's social circle, including Mick Jagger and Michael Jackson. Victims of convicted Jeffrey Epstein expressed anger after a long-awaited cache of records from cases against him were released, with many pages blacked out and photos censored. Meanwhile, a group of lawmakers, including Democratic and Republican representatives, recently criticized the Department of Justice for its incomplete release of the Jeffrey Epstein's files and threatened possible impeachment articles against Attorney General Pam Bondi and her deputy Todd Blanche. Democrats demanded answers after one image that included a photo of Trump was no longer visible in the Justice Department's online release. The department did not immediately respond to a query about the missing file. Let's take a look at the timeline of the Jeffrey Epstein investigation and the fight to make the government's files public. March 2005. Investigation opens against Epstein after a minor reports sexual abuse. May 2006, grand jury indicts on solicitation. July 2006, Epstein arrested after indictment. FBI begins investigation. 2007, federal prosecutors draft indictment. Secret no prosecution deal offered. June 2008, Epstein pleads guilty to state charges, sentenced to 18 months with work release. July 2009, Epstein released from jail after 13 months. 2015, Virginia Giuffre sues Ghislaine Maxwell for defamation over trafficking claims. November 2018, Miami Herald expose renews scrutiny of plea deal. July 2019, Epstein arrested on sex trafficking charges. August 2019, Epstein dies in New York jail awaiting trial. July 2020, federal prosecutors charge Ghislaine Maxwell with sex crimes. December 2021, Maxwell convicted of sex trafficking and other crimes. June 2022, Maxwell sentenced to 20 years in prison. January 2024, judge unseals more records, new information revealed. July 2025, the department says no client list, House pushes for full file release. November 2025, Congress passes Epstein Files Transparency Act. Trump signs it into law the next day. And Germany's Magdeburg remembered the one-year anniversary of a Christmas market attack that killed 6 and injured 344 others on Saturday. Several hundred people followed a commemoration service on screen outside a church near the place of the attack and formed a chain of lights holding candles. German Chancellor Friedrich Merz attended the church service among 350 guests. Emergency service personnel was also present during the service as well as on the ground of the Christmas market. The attack was carried out by a 51-year-old doctor from Saudi Arabia who is currently on trial, accused of ramming his highly motorized rent-a-car into visitors of Magdeburg Christmas market last December. The motive for the attack still remains unclear. Australia's Prime Minister Anthony Albanese said Sunday he has ordered a review into the police and intelligence services after 2 gunmen shot and killed 15 people at a Jewish festival on Bondi Beach. Albanese said his government will examine whether police and spy services have the powers, structures and sharing arrangements to keep Australians safe. Mourners and community members gathered at Bondi Beach, laying flowers and paying respects as Australia marked a national day of reflection for victims. In a nationwide gesture of light over darkness, millions are expected to fill their windows with flickering candles. Alphabet's Google and Apple have advised employees on U.S. work visas to avoid international travel due to delays of up to 12 months for visa stamping appointments at embassies. Immigration law firms representing the company said the delays stem from new social media screening requirements, warning that staff risk being stranded outside the U.S. if appointments are postponed. The advisory applies to holders of H-1B, H-4, F, J and M visas, according to Google's memo, which said some U.S. embassies and consulates face appointment delays of up to a year. The administration of President Donald Trump this month announced increased vetting of applicants for H-1B visas for highly skilled workers, including screening social media accounts. The H-1B visa program, widely used by the U.S. technology sector to hire skilled workers, has been under the spotlight after the Trump administration imposed a $100,000 fee for new applicants this year. The White House insists the fee is legal and part of a broader effort to reform the H-1B system, which the administration says has been misused and needs tighter controls. Let's take a look at the benefits of the H-1B visa and more.
The H-1B visa provides legal access to work in the United States in high-skilled professions, offers exposure to advanced technology, global companies, and best practices, enables high earning potential and improved career growth opportunities, allows dependents to live in the US with limited work options for spouses, serves as a pathway toward long-term stay and permanent residency.
As H-1B visa policy changes tighten scrutiny and employers rethink hiring strategies, the future of skilled migration to the United States is heading for a decisive legal test. Now take a listen to the impacts of the H-1B policy of the United States.
But Trump administration's September 2025 rules tightened definitions for specialty occupations and degree relevance. Increased scrutiny affects firms filling large volumes of H-1B petitions. Trump administration introduced a one-time $100,000 fee for new H-1B fillings. US tech companies now dominate initial H-1B approvals, showing rising domestic demand.
Bangladesh is once again on the boil following the attack on student leader Sharif Osman bin Hadi. The UN chief Antonio Guterres has called for calm with arson violence reported in several districts across Bangladesh. The next report navigates through the developments in greater detail.
Dhaka is burning. So are many other cities in Bangladesh. The current spate of violence was triggered following the attack on Sharif Osman bin Hadi on December 12th. Hadi, who succumbed to his injuries in Singapore on December 18th, was a prominent leader of the violent student protests, which led to the ouster of Sheikh Hasina and paved the way for the interim administration of Muhammad Yunus. Meanwhile, United Nations Secretary-General Antonio Guterres has called on all stakeholders in Bangladesh to exercise restraint, reduce tensions and refrain from violence as the country moves towards parliamentary elections scheduled for February. Condemning the killing of youth protest leader Sharif Osman bin Hadi, the UN chief extended condolences to his family and urged Bangladeshi authorities to carry out a prompt, impartial investigation in line with international human rights standards. The United Nations Human Rights Chief has called for a swift and impartial investigation.
We call for calm and for everyone to refrain from violence. Retaliation and revenge will only deepen divisions and undermine the rights of all. We urge the authorities to conduct a prompt, impartial, thorough and transparent investigation into the attack that led to Hadi's death and to ensure due process and accountability for those responsible.
Reports of arson and violence have emerged from several districts of Bangladesh. In Lakshmipur, a child was burned to death and two others seriously injured after miscreants set fire to the house of a local BNP leader early on Saturday. In Chattogram, unidentified attackers torched the residence of National Democratic Front President Barrister Anisul Islam Mahmood. Sporadic incidents of violence were also reported in Dhaka and other major cities. Citing security risks, the Bangladesh Shilpakala Academy has suspended all programs and exhibitions indefinitely following recent attacks on cultural institutions, including Chayanot and Udichi. Amid the unrest, Bangladesh's two leading newspapers, the Daily Star and Prothom Alo, have resumed print and online operations after temporarily halting services following vandalism and arson attacks on their offices earlier this week. The lynching of a Hindu youth in Moimunsingh and the horrific burning of his dead body in full public glare has sent shockwaves worldwide and raised serious questions about the safety of minorities in the country. With bureau inputs, Naval Sangh Parmar's report from Dhaka for DD India.
And today, Bangladesh's Editors Council and the Newspaper Owners Association of Bangladesh will hold a joint protest meeting to denounce recent mob violence and attacks on media and cultural institutions, raising alarm over press freedom and democratic values. The protest was prompted by a series of coordinated attacks, including vandalism, looting and arson at the offices of Pratham Alo and the Daily Star, as well as the assaults on cultural organizations Chayanot and Udichi. Editors Council President and New Age editor Nurul Kabir was also physically attacked during the violence. All right, and DD India's Naval Sangh Parmar joins us on the phone line. Hi Naval Sangh, a very good morning to you. We just told our viewers that Bangladesh's Editors Council and the Newspaper Owners Association of Bangladesh will hold a joint protest meeting today. Tell us more about it.
Well, this week there was a horrific attack on the media houses in Bangladesh and the media personality, as well as on the civil society and cultural organization. So it has created shockwave in Bangladesh and the civil society, though it is very, very thin here in Bangladesh nowadays, and liberal forces came together and they gave their opinions and they criticized the violence and incidents against the media and the common people in Bangladesh, and they are gathering today at a hotel in Dhaka, and the call for that is given by Editor Council of Bangladesh and the Newspaper Owners Association of Bangladesh. Meanwhile, the director of Rapid Action Battalion gave a press briefing in Mymensingh, and he has clarified that there is no evidence of blasphemy against the youth who have been killed by the mob in Mymensingh district 8. So these are the development in Bangladesh. And another thing, the Inqilab Manch, whom Usman Hadi belongs, has given a 24-hour ultimatum to arrest the accused in the Hadi's death. Otherwise, they will announce another protest or further program to press the government, interim government. Yes.
Okay, Naval Sangh, what you are saying, it seems like the situation in Bangladesh is not good at all. You just told us that there have been attacks on media houses and other institutions as well. I want to ask you that, has there been any statement from the government? Has the government condemned these attacks?
Well, yeah, after the widespread criticism from international media and locally, the Yunus administration criticized and condemned the move by the fanatical elements. But it is very evident, and the opposition party and the civil society here in Bangladesh also criticized that the inaction of the Yunus administration that leads to the severe attack on the media houses. At the time when the mob was marching towards the these media offices, there were a police presence was there, as well as the army personnel were also there. And in the presence of the police and the army personnel were requesting mobs to allow them to evacuate the journalists who were strapped on the roof of the Daily Star office. That is the pathetic thing. The army needs to request the mob. They were not taking action. They were requesting the mob people to allow them to evacuate the journalists from the rooftop. So that is the thing. And inaction of the Yunus administration is very evident from the social media footages as well as the criticism from the civil society.
Definitely. Naval Sangh, this situation tells a lot about the future of Bangladesh. In your analysis, Naval Sangh, can you just tell us that in a way, these protests which are happening, people have also threatened that they will hold more protests, if the government will not take any action. They're also likely to impact the elections that are going to take place next year.
Since the beginning of the Yunus administration took the charge here in Bangladesh, there are two group of political parties. One group of political parties is very much interested in the early election. At the same time, The another group of political parties, the fundamentalist element represent that the group, they are not willing to have election in Bangladesh because they are enjoying indirect fruits of the Yunus administration, and they are supporting Yunus administration. At the same time, Yunus administration is giving a free hand or leverage to the fundamentalist political parties to advance their agenda and propaganda in the Bangladesh. So the BNP and other political party accuse Yunus administration and the opposite, some of the political parties in Bangladesh, that they want to derail the electoral process in Bangladesh, and they are using incidents of murder of Hadi. They are encasing the incidents, and they are instigating the crowds and mobs to derail, to create a chaotic situation here in Bangladesh. So, in the pretext of the law and order situation, election can be postponed or cancelled.
Okay, election could be postponed or cancelled. That's what our correspondent is saying, Naval Singh Parmar. Very quickly, one thing more. How do you assess the overall situation in Bangladesh, Naval Singh? And tell us more about what's there when it comes to the security front. How's the security there right now as protests are going on and, in different parts of the country? So what is the overall situation there right now, and how is government tackling this particular situation which is there, causing unrest in the entire country?
As far as law and order situation is concerned, there is a plenty of evidence in the public life that what happened in the last couple of months. So people are worried and they are insecure. There is a threat to the life and property of any public figure. Whatever or anything can happen with anyone. So that kind of fear is there, and the law enforcement agency and the law and order situation in Bangladesh, there is no control of Yunus administration on the law and order situation, and people don't have any hope from this administration also. They are time and again asking for the resignation of Home Minister, but they are not yielding to their demand. On many occasions, there is a allegation from the different quarter of political parties that the administration is siding with some of the political parties, and they are bipartisan. They are not neutral at all, and they are providing undue benefit to some of the political parties.
Okay, so people are scared, and there's a threat to life. This is what our correspondent Naval Singh Parmar is telling us right now. Naval Singh, we'll keep taking updates from you on this. Thank you so much. We'll leave it there. Meanwhile, Bangladesh's Rapid Action Battalion said no clear evidence of blasphemy has emerged so far in the lynching of a Hindu youth in Mymensingh. Rapid Action Battalion 14 Director Naimul Hassan said 10 people had been arrested in connection with the killing, including factory floor manager Alamgir Hossain and quality manager Miraz Hossain Akon. According to the battalion, Alamgir forced Deepu to resign and then handed him over to the crowd. The victim was Deepu Chandra Das, who was working at Pioneer Knitwear's BD Limited. He was beaten to death by a mob on Thursday night over alleged blasphemy. His body was later tied to a tree and set on fire, triggering widespread outrage. Deepu's family accused factory officials of pushing him to his death. A murder case was filed by Deepu's brother against unidentified suspects. Rapid Action Battalion said it would continue a parallel investigation alongside police into the brutal lynching. And still to come on this edition of DD India News Hour. Kashmir braces for a fresh winter spell. More details ahead. Jaipur to host historic Army Day parade. India's Western Railways unveils its first ever private digital lounge and co-working space. Stay tuned to know more. You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj and a quick recap of the headlines. U.S. seizes oil tanker off Venezuelan coast, sends thousands of troops to the Caribbean, although Venezuelan government rejects the seizure. U.S. and Russian officials meet in Florida for Ukraine talks of a new format, proposing a trilateral meeting with national security advisors of 3 countries. Release of new trove of Epstein files stir political tensions ahead of 2026 U.S. elections. Lawmakers criticize Justice Department, threaten impeachment article over lack of transparency. Australia take an unassailable 3-0 lead in the Ashes series after their win in the 3rd test against England to retain the urn. On day 2 of Assam visit, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will pay tribute to the martyrs at Swahid Smarak Kshetra in Boragaon, Guwahati in a short while from now. After that, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will travel to Namrup in Dibrugarh, where he will perform Bhumi Pujan for the ammonia urea project of Assam Valley Fertilizer and Chemical Company Limited. He will also address the gathering on the occasion. Earlier on Saturday, Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurated the new terminal building of Lokpriya Gopinath Bordoloi International Airport in Guwahati. The new building marks a transformative milestone in Assam's connectivity, economic expansion and global engagement. Prime Minister also took a walkthrough of the newly inaugurated building at the Guwahati International Airport. Being India's first nature-themed airport terminal, its design draws inspiration from Assam's biodiversity and cultural heritage under the theme Bamboo Orchids. The terminal offers arriving passengers an immersive forest-like experience. PM Modi also unveiled statue of Lokpriya Gopinath Bordoloi, the first Chief Minister of Assam, in the airport premises. Addressing the gathering, PM Modi slammed Congress for neglecting Assam and reiterated his commitment to development of Assam.
कांग्रेस 6-7 दशक तक जो गलतियां करती रही और मोदी एक एक करके उसको सुधार रहा है। मोदी कहता है कांग्रेस वाले नॉर्थ ईस्ट जाए या न जाए, मुझे तो नॉर्थ ईस्ट और असम आते ही अपने लोगों के बीच होने का एहसास होता है। मोदी के लिए असम का विकास ये जरूरत भी है, जिम्मेदारी भी है और इसकी जवाबदेही भी है।
The Prime Minister said that his government prioritizes the North-East through the Act East policy. He added that Assam is connecting India with ASEAN countries and is set to become a key driver of India's development.
हमने एक्ट ईस्ट पॉलिसी के जरिए पूर्वोत्तर को प्राथमिकता दी और आज हम असम को भारत के ईस्टर्न गेटवे के रूप में उभरता देख रहे हैं। असम भारत को आसियान देशों से जोड़ने के लिए ब्रिज की भूमिका निभा रहा है। ये शुरुआत अभी बहुत आगे तक जाएगी और असम कई क्षेत्रों में विकसित भारत का इंजन बनेगा।
PM Modi was also greeted warmly by people who lined up on the side of the road as his cavalcade travelled through the city of Guwahati. You've just seen that in the visuals. And winter has tightened its grip across North India, disrupting daily life with dense fog, plunging temperatures and a string of weather alerts stretching from Delhi to the Himalayas. In the national capital, Saturday marked the season's first cold wave day. Uttar Pradesh remains under a red alert as dense fog, in fact dense to very dense fog, and cold day conditions persist across large parts of the state. Himachal Pradesh continues to wait for meaningful winter precipitation. Light rain and snow are expected at isolated places in higher and middle hills on Sunday, with a feeble western disturbance likely to affect the western Himalayan region from December 25th. In eastern India, the IMD issued an orange alert for very dense fog in parts of Jharkhand for the next 2 days and a yellow alert till December 23rd. The meteorological department in Kashmir has forecast a spell of wet weather beginning today, coinciding with the onset of Chillai Kala, which is a 40-day long period of harsh winter cold. The period, which starts on December 21st and continues until this January 31st, marks the harshest phase of winter in Kashmir and is traditionally associated with extreme cold and heavy snowfall. With a cold wave already gripping the valley over the past few days and most areas recording sub-zero temperatures during the night, residents believe this year's Chillai Kala is likely to live up to its reputation. Meanwhile, India Meteorological Department has forecast snowfall over western Himalayan region for the next 4 days. All right, and DD India's Shabir Dar joins us from Srinagar. Hi Shabir, a very good morning to you. Overcoat, cap and a muffler. Seems like the temperature is really plunging there. Tell us about the temperature there.
Yeah, the temperature has really plunged to minus in Srinagar and the parts of Kashmir. As you rightly said, the harshest phase of the Kashmir winter, the Chillai Kala, has commenced from today, and it is coincided with the widespread rains and snowfall in the upper reaches. As you know, I'm in Srinagar, and behind me you can see there's a huge fog and intermittent rain this morning. And as you rightly said, that the people here also believe that this year's Chillai Kala should live up to this reputation, and it has rightly been so, because we have seen the snowfall in the higher reaches in Kashmir, be it in Gurez or in Somag and other tourist places like Gulmarg, and rains across Kashmir's plains in Srinagar, in other places. It is raining right now, and higher reaches are getting the snowfall. So definitely the Chillai Kala, the harshest period, has come true to its reputation, and Kashmir is having a sigh of relief, because people hoped that the rains and snow would definitely end the dry spell, and it has done so, because Kashmir was reeling under prolonged dry spell this season, and today's rains and snow has eventually led to the culmination of the dry spell, and people are having a sigh of relief. No doubt the Chillai Kala brings with it a lot of miseries, because the harsh winter is very difficult to cope up for the residents, owing to the fact that during this period there is disruption in public life, particularly the electricity and water connectivity that is disrupted. So, but nevertheless, the people were hoping for this phase of the winter. We were waiting for the snowfall and the rains, and it has come at the right time.
Definitely, and perhaps Shabir, it has rained a while ago, if I'm not wrong, and we could also see the dense fog behind you. You've also showed that to us. You've told about what is happening there. But Shabir, I want you to tell to our viewers, DD India's viewers, that what Chillai Kala actually is and what happens during this time. Tell us a bit about it.
Chalai Kalan is a 40-day harsh winter period in Kashmir, which begins in December 21st and lasts for the 40 days. During this phase, you will see the intense chill and heavy snowfall coupled with the sub-zero temperature, particularly the freezing temperature during night. You will see the icicles hanging, the roofs in Srinagar and the peripheries. So very deep winter this is, and it is characterized by the intense cold wave and the freezing of water bodies, particularly the Dal Lake. We have seen in recent past the Dal Lake surface was frozen, and people would play cricket on the water surfaces because such is the level of freezing of the water surfaces. And all these things happen during the Chalai Kalan, during this 40-day period. And today, as is the first day of the Chalai Kalan, and it has rained in parts of Srinagar and parts of other districts, and snowed in the upper reaches. And the Met Department is also predicting that there will be widespread rainfall and snowfall in coming 48 hours, and that season is going to continue. And the important thing is that the Kashmir, his dry spell has been ended today, because if we have seen a prolonged dry spell.
All right, thank you for all those updates, Shabir. Thank you so much. We leave it there. And the curtain raiser for the Army Day Parade 2026, organized under the proud banner of Sapta Shakti Command at Jaipur Engineering College and Research Centre. The ceremony was attended by Rajasthan Chief Minister Bhajan Lal Sharma, who praised the professionalism and heroic legacy of the Indian Army. He urged citizens to witness the historic first ever Army Day Parade outside a military cantonment, showcasing India's military might in Jaipur. The event highlighted the Army's ethos of service, courage and national unity, inspiring youth and citizens alike. A teaser of the upcoming parade celebrating the Army's rich traditions and achievements was unveiled to resounding applause. India's Western Railways has unveiled its first ever private digital lounge and co-working space at Mumbai Central Railway Station, marking a new step in modernizing passenger facilities. The initiative aims to transform railway stations into multifunctional hubs, blending travel with productivity, and reflects a growing demand for smart infrastructure in India's busiest urban centers.
Western Railway has launched its first ever digital lounge and co-working space at Mumbai Central Railway Station, which became operational earlier this week. Located on the station's mainline concourse, the 1,712 square foot facility offers high-speed Wi-Fi, comfortable seating, modular workstations and self-service light refreshments along with non-alcoholic beverages. Passengers visiting the lounge have welcomed the initiative, saying the modern amenities significantly enhance comfort and productivity at the station.
I haven't seen this kind of lounge at any railway station in India as of now. And the best part over here is the food. The food is super quality. Free Wi-Fi is there, and the speed of the Wi-Fi is also very nice. So you can have like your office work you can do also here, like during the traveling.
To access the digital lounge, passengers are required to pay an entry fee of 200 rupees for the first hour, followed by 150 rupees for each additional hour. Officials said the digital lounge is operated by a private company, introducing professional hospitality services into the railway ecosystem. The facility has been designed to offer a convenient and functional workspace for passengers who need basic office facilities or a quiet environment to work and rest while traveling.
This digital lounge, this is basically, a one level up, right? So here you can have a seat, normal seats. You can stay for a long hours. We have a co-working space. The response is very good. Right, as you see, the lounge is pretty much, guests is using the lounges and they are very much happy with the services, right? It's the guest. We have received the guest feedback that they want this type of services in other locations also.
Encouraged by the positive response, Western Railway is now exploring plans to set up similar digital lounges at other major stations and even at select suburban stations. The lounge is expected to generate around 3 crore rupees in revenue over a 5-year period, strengthening the railways' non-fare revenue initiatives.
You're watching DD India News Hour. Time now for some sports news. And dominant Australia collected the last 4 wickets on the 5th day to win the 3rd test against England and retain the Ashes. England's resistance on day 5 of the Adelaide test lasted into second session before Scott Boland removed Josh for an 82-run victory to ensure the famous urn remains in Australian hands. The tourists needed a win to keep the 5-match series alive after being crushed by 8 wickets at Perth and Brisbane, with 2 more tests still to play at Melbourne and Sydney. Chasing 435 runs was always going to be a huge challenge, but England at least gave it a crack as they scored 352 all out. England have now lost the Ashes in 3 matches for the 4th consecutive tour, while losing 16 of their last 18 tests in the country. And Indian captain Ayush Mahatre won the toss and elected to bowl against Pakistan in the Under-19 Asia Cup final in Dubai today. And talking about the current score, Pakistan has lost 1 wicket on the score of 31. And India eye record extending 9th prestigious title after their unbeaten run in the tournament. They began their campaign with a thumping 234-run win over the United Arab Emirates. They defeated Pakistan in their second clash before thrashing Malaysia in their final league match. India overcame Sri Lanka in the semi-final. Vaibhav Suryavanshi has been in dominant form. The highlight was his stunning 171 runs inning against the UAE in the opener. Meanwhile, Pakistan defeated Malaysia in their opener before losing to India. They bounced back to beat the UAE by 70 runs and defeated Bangladesh in the semi-final to reach the summit clash. All right, and DD India's Narayan Singh joins us on this from New Delhi. Hi Narayan, a very good morning. It's too early to say anything, but as I can see the score, it's 31-1 Pakistan. They've lost an early wicket and this is the final match. Will the boys in blue, I can say, will they bring back the cup? What are the chances?
Siddharth, India is a dominant force. If you take a look throughout the tournament, they were unbeaten. In the league stage 2, they defeated Pakistan, and if you take a look at the semi-finals where they defeated the Sri Lanka in the semi-final and reached the final, definitely India is one of the favourites. If you take a look, the class of players India have, Vaibhav Suryavanshi, we know that what kind of impact he has made in the cricket, even in the IPL too. If you take a look at this tournament where he made 171 runs, which was the highest score of the tournament before. The record was broken by his teammate Abhigyan Kundu, who made a double century in this tournament against Malaysia. And a plethora of talent and plethora of, we can say, the potential the Indian under-19 team has. We have the Vivan Malhotra and the Aaron George, the kind of inning they played in the semi-finals. So all in all, we can say that India is a firm favourite for this tournament. And if you take a look, Pakistan too have played well, and their batters, especially if you take a look top of the order, Samir, the way he played, and he is also the highest run getter for them in this tournament. And for India, Abhigyan Kundu has done that job along with Vaibhav Suryavanshi. So India is a firm favourite because we know that India has won this title of the Under-19 Asia Cup maximum time. That is 8 times. They are far ahead of any team. And right now we are hoping that India will continue that momentum and will bring the trophy again here to their nation. And all in all, India's bowling lineup too, if we take a look, Chauhan, Kanishk Chauhan, the way he has bowled in the tournament, and the way Devendran is the highest wicket taker for the in the whole tournament. He has taken 11 wickets. So India, I think nobody can stop them, the kind of cricket they have played throughout the tournament, especially Abhigyan Kundu and Vaibhav Suryavanshi. We have high hopes from them, and in the future we will see them just donning the blue jersey for the senior team too.
Definitely, Narayan. They've had a phenomenal, tournament so far, and this is the final match. You've mentioned Vaibhav Suryavanshi. No doubt, he is exceptional batter. I mean, the way he smashes bowlers is certainly a delight to watch. But Narayan, the thing is that you cannot rely on one batter. So I want you to tell us that what are the players to look out for?
Siddharth, we are not relying on just on Vaibhav Suryavanshi, because if you take a look at our squad, as I mentioned, Abhigyan Kundu already scored a double century in this tournament against Malaysia, and Aaron George, one of the fantastic batters in the middle order. We have Vivan Malhotra, the fantastic another batter, and we can say that he has also the capability to play for India, and Aaron George also the fantastic batter. So whole lineup is a star-studded lineup, and Ayush Mahatre, our captain, he is also plays for the Chennai Super Kings. He opens for them, and we have shown the glimpses of his potential in the for the Chennai Super Kings too. So we have a star-studded lineup. We have many players other than Vaibhav Suryavanshi.
Okay.
As I mentioned, like Ayush Malhotra is there. Ayush Mahatre is there. Many more are there.
All right, let's hope the boys in blue bring it home, like we are saying. Let's cheer it for the boys in blue. Thank you so much, Narayan. We'll keep taking updates from you on this, but we'll leave it there. Thank you so much. And that's all for this edition of DD India News Hour. But let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India mobile app. The app is available on Android and iOS platforms, and you can scan the QR code to download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India News Hour.